Good morning, everyone.
Ahoy, hoy, everyone.
Ahoy, hoy.
I hope you're having a happy Monday. We have a super exciting show today. We've got Llano River Blue here talking to us all about stop-action animation with Lego. We've seen some of our amazing creations. And we're going to look at those again today, a little bit more in depth, which we're really excited about. And but before we do that, let's see who is here today.
See who's in the chat, right?
Let's see who is in the chat. We got Albert Lee is here, Alex23,
Hey,
Apples
Alex.
is here, Aquamite TV, Aubrey Kovach. Brett Hooper, hey Brett, Brickanista is here. Chris, that's one big Twinkie chalice.
All right.
Indeed. Bob Board is here. Your
Oh,
dad's
hey,
here.
Dad, you just popped in there in the alphabet.
Let's see. Claudine Ozello, that's a new name we haven't seen before. Welcome, welcome. Please, everybody, give a big welcome in the chat. Bubs and Lava Bat, another new
awesome.
name. Welcome, everybody. Let me see. I can't read.
DeJobTube.
There we go.
DeJobTube. Dan Bakken is here, too.
And Cowboy Cornado, ahoy howdy, is here. And Corey Knuckleholm is here. Wow.
And David Robinson
happen?
on a special...
David Robinson is here. Dan Bakken is here. Debo Bricks is here, a.k.a. Don Brickles.
All right.
I'm so here for that. EST Videos is here. How's it going? We haven't seen you in a little while. Hooded One. Jason Seacrest is here. Hi again, Jason. John Luttrell, Joshua Zender, Luke Solorzano, Matthew Builds
people.
Bricks, Mike Miller, new name. Hey, Mike, how's it going?
Minifig Chick is here
Monica
with Monica
Berry,
Berry and Moto.
And Ms. Slowbrickta, Remy Baker, Rob Zaccardi, and the Zaccardis, Lana, Vanessa, and Elena. I was like, got a little tongue-tied there. Jake Sadovich is here. Hey, Jake.
Hey, Jake.
Wilfred, bonsoir. And, of course, Kim.
Kim, I'm so glad you're here.
But yeah, we have a super exciting show. I'm really excited.
And super excited hosts.
And super excited hosts. I'm just like Brick Studio, very good. Welcome. So I just wanted to before we get started, let everybody know. So everybody, you've heard the many stories about my friend who I call Brick Picker Dave. Who is amazing. Dave, who helped me put up this shelf that you can't see here. I'll name it up.
Look, it's up there with all
our shelf with all of our things, and you can see our high class
camera shield?
Camera shield there.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's his birthday today, and he's in the chat. So everybody, please say a big, huge hello and TrickyBricks birthday to Dave. It's a really
great guy, a great cook too,
an amazing cook who's kept us, fat and happy throughout throughout this whole pandemic thing. Miss Tapcat is here.
Yay!
Wow, this is so crazy. Like, there's so many people here today. This is very exciting. I mean, of course, we have a really big thing, and you know what? I'm gonna take this opportunity to shamelessly plug the channel.
Okay.
Say, if you are new here and haven't been here before, if it's your first time, please subscribe, because when we hit 2,000 subscribers, we are going to be giving away this Monkey King Warrior Mech set to one of our lucky subscribers. So
it's a beautiful design. It stands up on its own.
Yeah,
makes a great buddy for Voltron.
It's so good. It's so good. We have it way up on the shelf, or I would bring it down. But it's a great model. We'll be giving that away. So subscribe, hit that bell button so you can see when we're doing new stuff. We're here 4 days a week.
We have how-to or mock Mondays.
And weekly challenges and all kinds of stuff. So, hey, Meg Browning, how's it going? Another new name. Welcome. Yeah, so if you're here and new, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell button, and as soon as we hit that 2,000 subscribers, we'll be giving that puppy away. Very excited for that. All right. Oh, yeah, we only have 120 subscribers to go. Meg Browning, thank you for your subscription. Thank you so much.
Well, what do you think?
Oh, Remy Baker, you're welcome. Yeah, let's welcome. We are there's so many things happening. Okay. I need a sip of coffee.
Oh, okay, I feel like Star Trek:
Thank
The
you,
Next Generation.
Bubs and Lava Bat.
Pulling down my uniform. They spent half the season pulling down their uniforms.
All right, so why don't we welcome our guest on? Because I know that our guest also has stickers and pins and all that
Yay.
stuff. And Shane Levan is here. Hey,
Hey,
Shane.
Shane.
So good to see you.
Okay, well, I'm going to get ready with my not wired to you headphones.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I need to do the same thing because I have like 60 things that I have to do before I can actually.
Hey, Flynn.
Before we can start, what's that?
Hailing frequencies open.
I know. Hailing frequencies open, sir. I wish. You know, I ascribe to be Uhura.
Yep.
It's like right up there. I would be totally. Hi. Yes, that's what I want to do.
In go-go boots in space.
Exactly.
All right, let's say hello.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and welcome our special guest. Llano River Blue is here.
Ahoy,
there she is. Hey. How's it going, Llano?
Good.
Good. So so this was actually very funny. Llano and Llano's wife, who is here today in the chat, live near us, and we attempted to do a get together yesterday so that I could give Llano her prize from the Halloween show.
Yeah, but the elements were against us.
Yeah, weather was not having it. So there it
It was
is.
a dark and stormy day.
I know it was kind of appropriate,
good
right?
for Frankenstein.
It was quite appropriate.
Wow, I like your background a lot.
Yeah, your studio is great. Very, very good. Nice. So, gosh, I understand that you have pins to share today,
Right.
as well as stickers, which is fun. We don't always, our guests don't always have all of those things, but I'm so glad that you do. So why don't we start off with you? What's your pin for today?
Well, I want to take a moment too to just say thank you, Flynn and Richard, for having me. Thank you, Tricky Lug, anyone in the chat that's part of this greater community. It's exciting to be here face to face with you. And then shout out to my wife Bama and Meg Browning, Mike Miller, and Claudino Zello are all here from my crew.
Ah, yes.
Oh, wonderful.
Showing up,
cool,
and anyone that
cool.
is not in the chat, of course, who's watching somewhere. Thank you for being here. Cheers.
Oh, coffee.
Yes,
I'll drink
cheers,
to that.
cheers.
I'm usually in bed giving you a cheers with my cup of coffee watching. All right, so my pin today is a let's see, a little bright. It is a skull and crossbones that has glitter, rhinestones, and is glow in the dark.
Oh, awesome.
Wow, so it basically has everything. It's like everything in one pin.
Wow, it's a pirate party in a pin.
That is so awesome. I am going to be sporting. I know I've worn this one before, but I'm feeling it today. I'm wearing this Mad Hatter hat, and it's kind of related to my 2-week build. I'll say that. There you go. And we can talk about that in a minute, because I did have something I wanted to say about that, but there you go. All right.
And I've got, let's see if I can do this here. Happy Oswald
Yay,
Rabbit.
Oswald.
He's having a great day.
Nice. Proto Mickey.
I know.
Exactly. And I wanted to just, before we get started, I wanted to bring up something, just because, we talk about art and art style and ways of doing things and challenging yourself for builds and all kinds of stuff. And we've also talked about that like weird thing where you come up with an idea for a build and you're like, you know what? I've kind of seen somebody do it before and I don't want to do it because maybe somebody else did it and they already did it so good. So like, why should I bother? And so never mind.
And maybe you spend hours thinking that.
Yeah, maybe you spend hours thinking that. And we've always encouraged everybody here on the show to just go ahead and like do it anyway, like do your own spin on it. And I have wanted to do this Alice in Wonderland Mad Tea Party scene forever. And I've seen a couple people had done it or whatever. And I was like, oh, I really want to do that for my 2-week build. And I was like, no, I shouldn't. So many people have already done it. And then I started thinking, I was like, that is completely going against the TrickyBricks way of life. And that is to just go ahead and do it anyway. And then when I was sitting last night watching the umpteenth remake of Emma, I was like, you know, actually, they've made this movie at least 25 times, so I can
It's
make my
true.
Mad Tea Party, darn it
I
all.
think the same
So.
Mr. What's his name, Mr. Darcy. I think it's been the same Mr. Darcy in every single one of those films, but there have
Well,
been different lead actresses.
there's always like the one handsome guy and then all the ladies. But anyway, that's just sort of my long-winded way of saying for this challenge that's coming up that we're doing. We've had like a 2-week build challenge. It's due this Thursday. Don't be afraid. If somebody's done it before, do it anyway. Make your own version. Make it your own. Like I've got ways I know that I'm going to be making it my own. So I just wanted to share that in that, like, I know a lot of people watch this and they're like, oh, you are on Lego Masters. You never have any doubts about anything that you do, which is so not true.
Well, some of them actually watched us on Lego Masters, so they know we do have doubts.
Yeah, we do. And yes, I mean, and we all do, of course. So I'm just saying, it's don't let anything stop you from moving forward.
Yeah.
Much
And
like
guess what? Everything has been done before. Lego
It's
or
true.
otherwise. Everything's been done. So just do your own spin on it and enjoy it. And shout out to,
Exactly.
I'm watching the chat, my sister Star and our parents are watching too. They might not be here.
Oh,
for
that's
the so
awesome.
Oh, hello,
Thank
hello.
you.
How awesome. Well, so all right, let us get down. Let's get down to it. Let's start talking about stop action animation. And let me know. Just give me a little heads up, Llano, when you're ready to share your screen, and I can switch over to the other
Okay.
thing there. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna share a short video, but let me do a little preamble first.
Okay.
But I just wanted to say that like everyone has this conception of stop motion animation that it's really hard and it takes forever, and that's not wrong. But I think if you're interested in it, like you should just go for it, and you should just think of it as something that's fun to do. Like it's basically with Lego specifically, it's basically another way to play with Lego. It's like another, like you're moving
Yeah.
the pieces and making up stories. And I know a lot of this community is already super into making up stories about their builds already. And also like the monotony of moving pieces. If you're into Lego, you're probably already into that. Like how many people think what you do is monotonous and takes forever? So I just want to say, if it's something that you're at all interested in, just play with it. Don't go into it with the conception of, oh, this is really challenging. As with apps right now, if we have time, I'm gonna show you the app that I use. And with Lego, where you can, rearrange your sets and everything, it's so much easier, in my opinion, than most people make it out to be. So my animation journey began 3 years ago. I've always made up stories. I do so many different kinds of art, but to me the central theme is telling a story. So whether that's performance art, songwriting, whatever, it's always it comes from a place of wanting to tell a story. And so I had this story idea a few years ago that I called Chenille Stems and the Dream Machine, about a scientist in an alternate dimension who is recording her dreams onto VHS tapes. And of course, so I wanted to use stop motion to tell some of those dreams. And also, like, good little hack, which Brickanista did this too. If you haven't checked out Brickanista's video of combining live action and then having stop motion segments, is another way to get more length. So let's see. Chenille Stems and the Dream Machine has 3 10-minute episodes on my YouTube channel. But
oh, and maybe if our Queen of Links could put a link up to Llano's YouTube channel, that would be awesome. If you wouldn't mind doing that, minifig chick, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's just LlanoRiverBlue.com. Or I mean, sorry, I don't actually have that URL. Soon. /LlanoRiverBlue.
A 10-minute episode is a lot of frames of stop motion animation.
No, but it's only like 30 seconds to a minute of animation per episode, and the rest is live action. So that's
right on.
Okay.
Cool.
However, in addition to those 10-minute episodes, which doesn't have Lego animation in it yet, I did do so my first little experiment with Lego animation was a year or 2 ago. I'm gonna screen share. And so this is a real short clip with a little bumper of live action and some some opening credits that also have some Lego animation. Let's see. All right.
Oh, no, screw. Panicked me for a second.
Yes, here we go. So these are perler beads on a third-party, not Lego compatible background. But so in addition to the 3 10-minute episodes, this is like just a little teaser. When I was first like, all right, I really want to involve Lego animation, and so here's my first foray into that. Are you getting? I'm not hearing audio, but
No.
Yeah, we're not hearing audio on this
audio.
end.
that's okay. This is on my YouTube channel. There
Oh,
is some
but I
great
see
sound
audio.
design.
No, that's
Oh, just
that's her talking.
Okay.
Awesome. I know there's a thing in the screen share settings there, Llano, where you can say like play the audio. For it to
Okay.
actually play the audio. I know there is like when you click screen sharing, you can do that.
Cool.
Oh,
I'll
Zoom.
figure that out for
I
the
know.
But yeah, just that was my first like I've been dreaming of Lego animation for a long time. I just need to do something, and so I set up this little lab. I made this little robot walk, and like that was just the first attempt.
Some of Disney's early animations included live action as well, which just blew people away.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice. All right, so I think let's get. Did we skip right past sticker time, didn't we? Do you still want to
Sure, but we can take. How about should we take a pause before we move to the next thing, and we'll do stickers real quick. I've got to. Here we go. It is sticker set show and tell. All right.
Hooray.
What have you got?
What have I got?
Yeah, what have you got for stickers?
I have this cool foil back Friends sticker.
Oh, yes, we have that one. It's so good.
41344 Andrea's accessory store. And it's, kind of looks like parts of my room.
Well, and that's the Friends set that came with the flip wig with the little with the cat ears, right?
And the scooter, both in turquoise.
I'll have you know that we bought that like a year ago, and I sat in our hotel room while on Lego Masters and put that set together in bed. Like on a Saturday. I just remember I think it was like our first Saturday that we didn't have something to do.
Well, we went to the Lego store,
and we went to the Lego store with a bunch of them, and then we were like, oh yeah, it was very funny.
Well, look what we have, Flynn. Is this?
Oh yeah, and we have shiny stickers
I know,
too.
Similar of a type. And
right.
these are another sticker gift from PT McEwen. Thanks, PT. This is from set 40307, 2018.
So good. There we go.
I know, it's so shiny. That's better.
Whoop. Go ahead.
It's the Disney Princess Supplemental Castle Interior Kit, which came with 115 parts, including pink, purple, magenta, lavender, and medium azure parts.
Yep. Yeah, and this is great.
Trick out your castle.
I know. I want that. Like, I just want that. I want a princess supplemental kit delivered to my house, please. See you later, Camden. Thanks for stopping by. All right. So yes, now we can let's continue on with stop action. What's next, Llano?
All right, let's get into Fab Max Furry Road, and it's just 2 minutes long, so I'll go ahead and play. Let's see if I can. I'm not seeing the.
I see the play button showing up on screen
for the
and then
audio.
Yeah. Well, if you can just play the audio out of your speakers, we'll probably at least be able to hear a little bit of it.
Okay. That might work.
Oh, it might.
Oh, no.
That'll feedback.
No, not the YouTube volume. The volume on your actual video.
YouTube. Oh, 2020, Zoom, etc. All right, let's see if this works.
Yay.
Yeah, we can hear that.
While the rest of Fabuland had gone to heck on a hand truck, down in the valley was the last bastion of civility. The intrepid bulldogs who had once kept order in this fair city were determined to hold on to whatever shred of authority they had left, even though their police and fire stations were in ruins, even though their valley was used as a dumping ground. Even though they were often targets of theft by gangs of unruly hooligans.
This is one of my favorites.
Wow, your cinematography and editing are brilliant. So wonderful.
There's so many things to love. My favorite, I have to say, my two favorite things in the whole thing are the hot dogs on the sizzling on the motor, and then this whole spider sub story is another favorite.
Yes.
And I think Brickanista was just right. I love that opening dolly shot. And you've got, I don't know if it's a wipe or a dissolve, but there's something in, smoke fills the screen, and then we're in another striking shot. Just lovely.
So I'm sure the question, just like at a Lego convention, when everybody asks you how many bricks did it take, how long did it take you to make that? No, so yes, how long did it take you to do that whole thing, would you say?
So that is the most asked question. And honestly, I try not to keep track because I'd rather not know. But I would say different clips. So like the most intensive part is that section where there's, after the cars zoom off and there's the fire and the smoke and the water. So that's like moving, like thousands of individual elements around. So that particular section, I spent maybe 3 hours one night to get 7 seconds. So that's like the higher end. But then, when it's just like the car moving through the frame, that's really quick. So it's not like there's a set time. But when I animate, usually I run out of steam like about 3 hours in, and I average like anywhere from 7 to like maybe 15 seconds on a good night.
In the old days, if you were like in Ray Harryhausen days, I don't know why actually, if he was working, all night to get 10 seconds and he messed up at 9 minutes 45 seconds, he would have to start over. Do you have the ability to pick up where you left off if there's a mistake?
So if we get a chance to look through the app, you'll see some things. But honestly, often shots are shorter than I wanted them to be because I kicked the camera. Suddenly it's like all askew. And I like just cut my losses instead of like trying to get everything to line up. But also I wanted to say like there's such a spectrum like from casual to professional on animators, and I'm like I feel like just a little bit above the middle. And so if you really like go through frame by frame, you'll see so many things where like the camera bumps or the lighting changes, and because of how I'm choosing to animate with like lots of different shots, lots of action shots, lots of things like moving in the foreground, if I'm doing my job as a storyteller, you're not gonna pay attention, or it's not gonna detract from the story with these little like glitchy things.
I didn't see any. I saw a dramatically edited piece. I didn't, but
Yes.
I think people tend to see things as a thing too, as opposed to, I wasn't looking for anything odd. It just all really flowed wonderfully.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's like forgive me, but it's like watching magic happen. Seriously, like it was kind of like we were excuse me, we were kind of talking yesterday about how um when people see like a Lego train set, they kind of get like instantly transported back to childhood and that
Yeah,
feeling. And watching that gives me that same kind of feeling.
thank you.
It's just like watching all those little specials when I was a kid, all of the Rudolph and all of it. It's just all kind of, it's got such a, um, and also too, I like I thought, I really like how you own the stop actionness of it. Because a lot of especially like with the movies they do today, they do a lot of stuff to help the scenes. Like when you see like the Lego movie and stuff, which is supposed to look like stop action, but they
Yeah.
fill in the gaps.
Well, Leica's very smooth as well.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, and they fill in the gaps, which I love, absolutely. And also, I also love this. Like reminds me of again like the Rudolph specials or the Ray Harryhausen
Right,
movies where you could see like that somebody had accidentally pushed the fur with their thumb. So
right,
like
right.
the fur like flies up for a couple of frames and then like back down again. Like I love that part of it. I think it's
Yeah,
so
that's
fun.
something that I love too. And so both of these animations, this one and Something Wicked, everything is practical. So I didn't even adjust the color. And I do use Adobe Premiere to edit, but I did like no color adjustment. That's all the lighting I'm using.
Oh,
All of the special effects, of course, with like the fires and stuff, it's all practical lighting that's happening in camera. And so
wow.
partially that's because of my love of practical effects, and partially it's just that's where my skill set lies. If I were someone like Holly who does special effects for Leica, right?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Or if I could afford to hire that or have a department, like, yeah, I might have someone go in and like erase the wires, so to speak, or like enhance the flame. But I have fun doing everything practical.
Got
Well,
it.
I think especially when you don't have, $60 million. But no matter what your budget, I think practical lighting looks real, right? It
Right.
looks like when light fell on Rudolph, you knew it, and they didn't put an orange filter on everything. There was orange here, but then he goes into another light, and you can see the color, of his nose. I love practical effects.
Me too. Me too.
But I don't want to stop you with a zillion questions. I know
Yeah,
you have
let's
a lot to
Right.
present.
and
Yeah. So
we will be answering questions from the chat, and there will be a little bit of a question and answer period at the end. But if you have questions, go ahead and put them up there. If they're especially if they're relative to what we're talking about at the moment, and we'll try to squeeze those in for everybody.
Oh,
so
rig removal.
I'm
Holly's getting serious.
I'm
Oh yeah,
gonna
big removal.
share a photograph.
Okay.
And so s- these don't have dialogue, these animations. And so storyboarding is a way that you can write if there's not actual dialogue to like write. And actually, I watched a bunch of special features on Fat Max Fury Road. And that movie didn't have a script. They had this epic storyboard. However, the second one I didn't storyboard because the point of a storyboard is to communicate your ideas to your team, right? And so you're
Right.
all like can see it visually. Um, since I am my team and I have it all in my
Yeah.
head, I don't always storyboard. This was actually the seed of the idea. It really developed organically, this Fab Max thing. So I just knew that I wanted to see that like flame trail. I just thought that would be really cool. I have the pieces to do it. Like years ago on the pick-a-brick wall, I had found flame pieces and I had found ice cream pieces. So I've just been like
Nice.
holding on to those. Of like sometime I'm gonna need a bunch of those. Um, so it really just started with that idea. And so I have a collaborator I've been working with for a long time, Sean Melroy. that did sound design on all of the chenille stems in the Dream Machine. And so I sent this storyboard to him for sound effects. So that's why I wanted him to have context, not just saying like, I need the sound of a flame whooshing. It's like, it's going to be this like,
got it,
these Lego pieces shooting out of exhaust. So this is just to communicate my ideas to my to my sound designer. However, this spiraled so hugely out of control. It really was this simple of an idea to begin with, of like, I just want a flame trail. And then I found, after building the first vehicle, I found a second Fabuland set on eBay that had a firefighter and a police officer in it. I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna get those. And that's how the idea organically grew. Like, it really was just this idea. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, sorry, just real quick. I'm just curious though, like as far as like with the storyboarding though, for me, now we do sketches and stuff like that, but I wonder too, like even though you see it in your head, and for me, you know, my method is if I can see the finished project in my head before I start, I know I'm gonna be able to just kind of like go in there and go all the way through it. But for some parts that you're not necessarily sure on, like, would you recommend this as a way to somebody who's starting to kind of go, oh, well, I can see that I would want the car in the center of the frame and moving away in the distance, but oh, how would it look if I added these flames on or whatever? And sort of a way to get a creative head start, if you will, so that you're not making the same way that some people like to start models in digital form,
right?
Because it cuts down on mess a little bit, right? Because you're not like trying.
I mean, I wouldn't suggest any one direction. It's really about how you work as an artist. So this is definitely a tool that a lot of people use. Mm-hmm. I've been making movies for a really long time, so I tend to just like visualize it. And actually something that I did do outside of this is I would write out a shot list so I could kind of keep back. I use my iPad to animate. This is an iPad mini from like, I don't know, 5 years ago or something. And so I'm constantly airdrop exporting that onto my laptop and putting it in the editing program and seeing them together. And I can be like, oh, we didn't really get a good establishing shot, so I'm going to go back and shoot that. Oh, I can't really see what's going on here, so I need a close-up of this. So that's the way I work. But it's really, there's so many ways to work.
There's something I'm very excited about what you said about a designer's storyboards communicating to the team and how drawings can do that. And something that I really appreciate about your drawing is that you used a different color for the sploosh sound effect than you did for the one where the flames overtaking the marshmallow, right?
Right.
And that change in color is like using adjectives for another designer, right? It's this common territory. You can understand that should have a different quality, and I think that's just brilliant.
So, and real quick before we move on to this next picture, we did have a new person, the Octo Pirate Customs. Hey, welcome to the stream.
Good name.
But Octo Pirate Customs asked, who are your influences?
So I mentioned earlier that I do a bunch of different things. I do music, performance art, personal narrative, costuming. So everything and everywhere.
That's like us, yeah, same. Right.
As far as animation goes, I definitely grew up on Gumby.
Yay!
Like going into the books was definitely sparked my imagination. Ray Harryhausen, obviously. Anyone that doesn't know Ray Harryhausen,
100,000,000%.
Right. He did the original King Kong. He's famous. One of the famous things that it's referenced in my second Brick film is Jason and the Argonauts. There's this live action sword fight with stop motion skeletons.
Yes.
Insane. And Actually, my biggest just filmmaking in general idol is actually Robert Rodriguez.
Oh,
cool.
okay.
Because so his first movie, El Mariachi, it's like shoestring budget. He shot everything himself. Even his later movies, like I love his opening credits will say shot, chopped, and scored by Robert Rodriguez, which means he's filming, editing, and doing the music. So just as
Nice.
far as like a Renaissance person who's doing everything, really powerful. So yeah, I wanted to show a little bit of my setup again. I was talking about like, I feel like I'm just like a little bit above the middle in the spectrum of casual, but both of these last projects that I did were really designed for me to learn new techniques. I was like, I really want to try all these different things. So you can kind of see behind me too, I've still got my Something Bricked This Way Comes set up, so we'll visit that a little later. But I just use these hardware clip lights. These are like $10-$12. They've got
That's where
a
we
clip
started
on them.
with our Lego photography
Yep,
as
that's
well.
exactly
Same thing.
where
Yeah.
we started. Yep.
Right, I might move to digital at some point, but again, I bought these for live action film like a few years ago, and so I just use them for everything.
They're
I
great.
do have professional lighting gel that I got at DTC Lighting and Grip in Emeryville.
They have a ton of stuff.
Yeah. So like, if you're using digital lights, you might have this much of a color spectrum, right?
Wow, that's fancy.
If you're using lighting gel, you've got so many, you just have more control over the colors.
Right.
And so it comes in a big sheet. I cut out these little squares. And so I don't know if I can't find my tape, but it's called gel repair tape. So I don't know if it's specifically designed for this, but it's basically this clear tape.
Oops. Hey, hang on a second. Can you stop sharing your screen for a second, Llano, so we can see us all? We can see you a little bit bigger.
Thank you.
And Llano, that gel is about
there we go.
Isn't it like $10 a sheet or less? It's not that expensive, right?
Yeah, I bought it so many years ago and I've hardly used any. So yeah, if that, yeah, it really was not that much. And especially these smaller clip lights, you don't need very much surface area. And then so also, if you haven't watched TrickyBricks' specific stream on lighting, go watch that because there's lots of ways to do it. This is just how I do it. And maybe I'll move to digital, as I said, LED lights at some point.
These are great.
But because of I forget who said this in the chat on that video, but Richard, you were talking about diffusing the light, which helps cut down glare on the shininess of a Lego brick. So this is parchment paper. Someone in the chat, I remember being like, I think parchment paper would work because you can put that in the oven, so it's okay for heat. So I've got this, and sometimes I'll do lighting gel and this taped on with this lighting repair. It's like a clear tape, but it's resistant to heat. Do not put like just Scotch tape.
Scotch tape.
Melt.
Yeah.
Also, I am using incandescent bulbs as opposed to LED because it's a warmer tone, and it also allows you to dim. So the other thing that you can also just buy at a hardware store somewhere is these little dimmers. One end plugs into the outlet, and then your light plugs into there, and then it's this little slider dimmer.
Yeah.
Got it.
And just especially for any younger viewers, if be very careful if you're putting parchment paper on a light bulb. Don't ever, ever, ever leave it unattended.
And don't let it touch the paper.
Yeah,
don't let the light bulb touch the paper.
And
for
if you can go to a place like Llano has mentioned and get theatrical lighting gel, it's resistant to very hot temperatures, so it's super safe.
Right. Also, again, spectrum, if you're just wanting to get into this casually, use a desk lamp.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
And I do have like an LED desk lamp I'll use sometimes. And so again, it wouldn't get hot and you could be a little safer about it. I'm a big believer in just using what you have available. So I'll show some other level effects I have as well. But also wanted to mention with this dimmer, I actually use a splitter that I can plug 3 lights into the same dimmer and have them all at the same level. And then I have this plugged into a power strip, so I can just turn that power strip on and off. And I've also got my black lights. I've also got my black lights plugged into that same power strip. I have my iPad plugged in. So all my lighting is like centralized and just on one switch.
That's great.
So Joel Marbella asks, instead of using gels, can you change the light temperature color in post?
To an extent, yeah. So again, I edit with Adobe Premiere, which is like not the lowest entry point to editing, and that allows a lot of flexibility. But that is definitely a possibility. Also, I will say, going back to using what you have available, if you just have a cool LED desk lamp, maybe you write a sci-fi thing that a cool light would make sense for,
Right.
with Fab Max, I knew I wanted this warm tone. I'm going to share that. I know we're coming up on that special time too, but
we are in fact.
Finish this shot.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
because,
It's not a cookie emergency.
You can see I've got 3 lights, and so those of us in California know there was a day like a month or so ago where the skies were orange. I had literally set this up the night before, and then
wow,
this is real life. So, but I knew that I wanted that orange glow to this, because that's kind of what I think of with Mad Max and other apocalyptic movies. So I've got this overhead light that's a nice amber, like yellowish color. I've got this side light that's a nice warm peachy color. And then I've got this hard, like magenta fuchsia side light that just creates a nice texture.
Well, and I think the difference between this and doing something yes, you can do little tweaks in post, but for stuff like this, like if you don't like the way that purple light is acting, then move the purple light, which you can't do in post, right? Like you don't have that. I mean, at least not unless getting really into it.
These are just clipped to my shelves. I've definitely clipped them to chairs or to tripods.
Yes.
But my shelves have been really useful. This was not intended as an animation space, and it's just kind of where I ended up. But
we know exactly what you're talking about.
But just moving those lights further back or angling them, which is another nice thing about this great ball joint on these. Like sometimes I would get into a new shot, and even though it's exactly the same lighting setup, there would be a glare. So just like moving the set at a slight angle, moving the light at a slight angle, moving them further back. For new shots, I always had to kind of readjust.
That ever-present glare is so challenging.
Well, now before we
text minifig check.
Really,
here.
okay, it's telling me it's experiencing issues. Thank you, I figured that out. Okay, so let's we restarted the stream. We'll see what's going on here. Let's find out. It looks like we're back up to normal on our end. Hopefully that we will get everybody coming back. Nope, we're getting dropped frames. Hi, everybody. It looks like we're back for a minute, but also, too, it's giving me a little bit of... I'm getting some dropped frames, so hopefully it will stay steady.
Fingers crossed.
We're crossing our fingers here, but we'll see what happens.
Good now.
Yay, Wilfred says it's good now.
Okay, good. All right, I think we need to do that. I think we have to do that again.
What, for real?
Well, I mean,
he won't mind.
It was right in the middle. Well, did everybody get to see Logan Cookie Time? Do we need to do that again? Because we can. I mean, he won't be sad.
He doesn't mind.
He totally doesn't mind. Oh, no one got to see LCT. So, all right, here we go. Logan, come on, Bubba.
More cookies.
Logan and Fancy
Guess what?
are back.
Here, we'll give you a little tiny
There
one.
we go. We can't miss LCT. Gotta have that. Yay, Logan.
Logan, we're going to have to go out for a walk.
Ooh, he's also very stinky. All right.
What a good boy.
What a good boy,
I know,
Logan.
you got 2 in 1.
Yay. Woohoo. All right. Very good.
Yay, Cowboy Cornado We gotcha. Logan, cookie time number 2.
Well, it looks like
Oh, everyone, Holly's given everyone a minute to catch up.
yeah, because it looks like we are having a little bit of dropped frame issues, but I think otherwise, yeah. Okay,
Gremlins.
well, let's go ahead and can we get back to the let's get back to where we were.
I'm gonna
Let me
reshare
see.
that photo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely realizing how long I could actually talk about this. So I'm sure that I'll do a little bit more behind the scenes on my own YouTube channel.
Well, we're so excited we keep stopping you. I want you to make sure and be able to present everything you want to present, and we can,
Thank you.
pipe down a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead. So I put some of my notes in a Google Doc with links, and I'm gonna go ahead and drop that in the chat. And this is instead of having to put links repeatedly, and I list out my equipment in there. This is just like a little bit more details. But I do want to go into other equipment that I use. So I mentioned I use an iPad. You could use a phone. Probably the newer the better because of picture quality, but again, use what you have. The other important thing, of course, is a tripod mount for it. And this is a fairly heavy duty tripod, which I found secondhand. It's Manfrotto, which is like legit tripod company.
I have one of those.
Basically, for stop motion, the heavier your tripod is, the better, because it's less likely to bump and move around. I would not recommend any of the clippy or wobbly ones. However, if you have that, use it. Also, people make great phone holders out of Lego.
Oh yeah, we did it. That's how we started.
And if you don't have a great tripod, you can always tape it down to the floor or the desk too.
Yep.
I need to do that. Yeah, even with the tripod. The other thing that I use.
Oh, hang on. So Llano, when you're sharing your screen, you're very tiny in the corner, and we can't see anything you're holding up. So that's okay.
We're just gonna switch.
Okay. While I've got my screen shared, let me finish talking about this photo then.
Yeah.
Okay.
So again, I was talking about the light being practical, and you'll notice these little troughs or ditches. And what I did for that is I actually put these little LED strip lights that are meant for shelves. I recessed them into the set. So that set is 4 plates or a brick and a plate tall, which allows room to put the lights inside. And then I had 2 stud wide gray plates that were stacked 2 together. So they were a little bit sturdy. Just these long runs that would cover those troughs. And then as the car is moving forward, I'm sliding those troughs forward to expose the light behind the car.
Oh my goodness.
Wow, that's so cool.
That's really smart.
I didn't have the whole story in mind when I started building this set. I just had that seed of, I want to see a flame trail. I made the car and was like, I want to see this ripping through the wasteland, leaving a trail of flame. So it was just that seed that was like, all right, I'm going to build a set around that. And then the story just kind of presented itself to me as I went. And I tend to animate from the middle out of I know what's going to happen in the middle. And then I'm still writing as I go of okay, let's flesh this out. Oh, spider subplot. Oh, sausages.
Right.
It was just the ideas are kind of coming to me as I went and as I immersed myself in that world.
So you built the practical needs into the set and decorated on top of it.
Yes. And for set building for animation, it's really important to animate in camera. So I had my iPad on its tripod set up, and it's always just looking through the frame. Because I think a lot of us encounter this with the weekly challenges. What looks good to your eye doesn't necessarily look good to a camera.
Yes. Hey, let's get us all back up onto the screen there, if you don't mind.
Yes, it is that time.
There you go.
Yay.
So yeah, just always looking through. I I tend to over detail and then take things off.
Yes,
Like,
that's
oh,
very
it's too
Coco
busy,
Chanel
I
of you.
can't really see what's going on. Let's scale it back a little bit. So yeah, again, I've got this listed in that. I'll repost that Google Doc link at the end of this too. But so I also use a Bluetooth shutter remote. I guess this app
Yes.
does allow you to do something like I could maybe have it loaded on my laptop and like trigger the camera on my another device. Haven't figured out how to do that, but this, by being able to take a picture remotely, anytime you're touching a screen, it's
Yep.
moving slightly.
Yep.
So this
Yep.
is really important. Some other cool tools I've got are sticky tack.
Okay. Yes. Yep.
So like just using a little pinch of this, if something's, I don't know, I'll go into a little bit more how I use that later.
Okay.
Let's see, what else do I have up here? The actual light that I used, again, this is from Home Depot. It's like their generic like consumer electronics or something like that brand. But it's this LED strip light. I think we've all seen this kind of thing. And so it's just these like it was like two strips linked together. This has one of these remotes again, so you can actually adjust the color and dim. So that was under the flame pieces. And then, as I said, I'll go into this a little bit more too for something bricked, but these are some of my practical effect lights. So for some of those magic effects, this is a bike light. And so just like shining that on the pieces, I'm actually using my hand as like an iris, depending on how big I want it. And then I also have a UV flashlight, which is like a black light. And again, just
so you don't need fancy special equipment that says film or video. Anything that produces light, and especially you get nice small things without blowing the budget on one light.
Mm-hmm. And then I do, so the UV and these black lights, shout out to my wife, Bama. Those are hers, I'm borrowing them. She uses them for jewelry display. She did a line of blacklight acrylic jewelry, so that was like to sell it.
If I could interrupt you just for a second. Minifig Chick says she doesn't think that you, since you're not an administrator right now, can post links in the chat. So if you send it to us, we'll get it up there.
Okay, cool. And yeah, so these black lights, they're USB black lights. It's like a little bar. And so I've got one mounted from above. It's hanging on some fairly sturdy wire so that it doesn't wobble too much. And then I actually put another one below the set on a little shelf so that there's black light on the stars coming from both angles.
Oh, very nice.
But the other, as anyone who's seen my work knows, I love black lights. The other great thing about this is it actually shows you what pieces are blacklight reactive. Yes. And I found that like 10% of these star pieces in this yellow don't glow in the blacklight. Same with the red color. Like some glow and some don't. It's just like batch or how old they are.
Yeah.
So
it's weird.
But they pop right out if you shine that light on them.
Okay, right. I gotta say for a second, Llano, I just realized that you're wearing your TrickyBricks as earrings, and I'm so excited by that. It makes me so happy. That's so awesome.
I got one from you and one from Minifig Chick, and I was like,
that's so awesome.
I also do you recognize this character on my shirt?
Yes, of course I do, Madame
from
Leota.
The Haunted Mansion.
Madame Leota from
favorite. So I did have I mean, I guess so. Are we going to watch another one, or did you have more? Do you have more fun tools to share with us?
I think that's it on the tools. Yeah, we could move to something bricked.
And then I'm hoping that we can talk about that for a little bit, and then definitely want to make sure that we have time for you to show people the app, because I think that's the big sort of like the big tool that people are probably really interested in finding out about. So, but let's, and by the way, this next one we're about to watch is epic. If you saw it, it's the one that won the Frankenstein Brickheads on our Halloween show. So, this is another epic production.
And yeah, this one's just 2 minutes long. And so again, going back to how long these things take, excuse me, I'm animating at 12 frames a second. So that's 12
I was wondering.
for every second. I did the math, and apparently this is about 1,500 photographs.
Oh, wow.
Which again, like,
man.
I'd kind of rather not know. I'd rather just like do it until I can't do it anymore, and then see what I end up with.
That's fair.
But this was basically a month. Honestly, the animation takes less time than setting up the lighting, building the set, building the pieces. So that to me is actually the unsung struggle of like animation. It's not the actual animating that takes forever. It's the creating this immersive world.
Right.
So let's see. Let me make sure my audio is up
Well, I think
here.
your time investment is worth it.
Thank you. And this is like relatively quick. Like this whole thing just happened in October, and it was actually only about a week of animating and lots of time building and writing the story.
And they lived spookily ever after.
That was
That's
just
so fun.
There were so many, like, again, like your last one, I could watch it a bazillion times and still find something else. And just to like address something that's being said in the chat, yes, that's ukulele, and I believe, yes, that is you playing it, isn't it, Llano?
Yes.
Yay, ukulele players unite.
It's such a wonderful soundtrack.
Yeah, it's really fun.
So that brings me to a couple points. So in Fab Max, I spent so much time doing the sound design. So like I said, I sent it to my friend Sean Malroy, and he sent me those first few sound effects, and he said, hey, I found this site, freesound.org. And it's like, basically it's a user whatever you call it, like people upload sounds and they say this is free to use, credit me, or I don't need credit. And so I was just like constantly moving all these sounds around, again in the same way that like fire, smoke, water scene was really hard to animate. I'm also having sounds for like steam hissing, water gurgling, water splashing, fire crackling. So that was also really complicated to create the sound design for this one. Because I had such an epic vision with that battle sequence, I knew I wasn't going to have time to do the sound design. So I chose to just do a song. Sean Malroy, I'm also in a band with him called The Sweet Trade. We haven't been as active the last couple of years, but we're basically around from 2009 to 2019. So we had a 10-year career, a couple of albums available on iTunes. So I'm playing ukulele, I wrote the song, and then he added there's violin, mandolin, and glockenspiel bells. And so I was like, all right, this song has a great build. I decided to like I knew where I wanted the song to pick up. I put that in the right spot where the action picks up. And then I like so I'm editing the music to fit the video. My sister was asking me about this the other day. She's like, did you edit the video to fit the music? It's actually the other way around for me. So little into sound design.
Well, it's so cheerful, and it puts it in this fantasy space. You know, this sort of far away fantasy space, and it leaves lots of room for the ideas of the piece. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. Melanie says crowdsourced is the word for, I know.
Yes.
The word for like user-based uploading sites. Freesound.org. Again, that's in the Google Doc, which I'll have someone share. Let's see.
Your lighting effects were impressive too. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut in there, but there's several flashes, and then the spinjitzu pieces glowing so brightly.
That was so...
I think especially the splashes in her house in the cauldron, the splashes of light were really magical.
Yeah, it's really, really, really smart.
I would love to go reshare that and go through like a little bit of that potion sequence and a little bit of the fight sequence, do just a couple sequences frame by frame.
Absolutely.
Sure.
See what I'm doing. And actually on my Femme from the Block Instagram, I did do some sections of this potion making section where I uploaded so you can like swipe through frame by frame. So again, I'm using either a bike light or a UV flashlight to get these effects. So you see she opens the bottle. I've got the light, again, using my hand as an iris. So it's like just barely showing through, and then it gets brighter, and then it gets dimmer. And then
the light is above and off to the left?
Yes. Yeah,
nice.
My hand's just out of frame above holding it. And same with the explosions in Fab Max. You know, I always think of, not that I know a lot about physics, but like the physics of like things kind of expanding and retracting. So like for all of the smoke and explosion effects, I'm always kind of thinking about, all right, something's going to get big, and then, and this little snake wiggle effect by switching the direction of it.
That's so great. Smart. That is so
and then it turns
smart.
into a sausage to get smaller.
What?
Doesn't fit
That's
into...
brilliant. That's brilliant. I would have never known. known.
Yeah, it all happens so fast.
That's fantastic.
And then let's see. And then so here's the black light I'm using. So she pours, explosion. I also was thinking about like some chemical reactions would be slower, some would be longer. So this one's just like immediate boom, boom, big cloud piece.
Oh, the cloud! See, because a lot of the stuff you miss because it goes by so fast, exactly. Which is great because it kind of blends in.
Right.
But I wanted to say, like, if you go back a couple frames, I just wanted to show people kind of, so you have her pouring it in and there's nothing. And then the next frame is you've already got 2 full smoke clouds coming out and the light on. And I just wanted to point out to people that don't, like, since you're not doing 40 frames a second or whatever, you don't have to include every single tiny movement. You can go from nothing to a cloud, and once it all runs together, you're not gonna notice that because
Yes.
you wouldn't have noticed that at its like at full rate.
Right.
Very cool.
Yeah.
You
So
know,
again, if you go to my Femme from the Block Instagram, there are some of these sections. Oh, just to real quick touch on this. When I built
please.
this character for the monster challenge, I wasn't planning to animate with this. And I suddenly ran into the problem that it's not articulated at all.
Mm.
So if I had planned ahead, I was basically just trying to use all of my purple pieces, none of which are ball joints. So I do
No.
not recommend this, especially if you're just starting out. But like all the like Ninjago or elves, dragons, or Melanie just bought me a birthday present that's the Creator 3-in-1 dragon. Those
Mhm.
things with ball joints, or the Unikitty, Ultra Kitty from Lego Movie 2, I just got that. Those would be great to animate because you
Yeah.
have so much range of motion and articulation. This, I'm basically deconstructing and rebuilding it every frame. I did use a little bit of sticky tack, and the reason this is a shot from above is because it couldn't stand up. So I'm like, oh, well, it's just using gravity to hold itself together. And then
But it gives this great crane shot.
right, yeah, production value.
Well, and Holly was pointing out too that those ball joints have tension. So when you put them somewhere, they're going to stay there, provided you haven't built too heavy of a limb or whatever.
Right. The ratcheting joints would also be great because those click, click, click. So
Yes.
that's your frame.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is, again, happens so fast, I don't think you pick up all the details, but like its legs get bigger, and then its horns get bigger, and then its head gets bigger. And so I'm doing this moving action in the front, partially to obscure what's going on. So you don't have to, it's kind of like old monster movies in rubber suits. They knew it looked terrible, so you only show it in the shadows or like behind something. That's industry tricks right there. Of
Yes,
like, if you're not sure
clever.
about it, obscure it. Don't show all of it. I have a 90-degree straight out angle because I've got a little purple snot brick, or straight down. Those are the only two movements. So the legs sometimes move straight out, sometimes don't. And
so great.
It happens so fast that you don't like it. You just register that there is movement.
Sorry, Flynn. When we toured Leica Studios with Holly, and also from listening to Disney animators talk, there's you have to do different things with frame rates with frame rates to make an excited fast movement versus something slowly developing. Do you use any math in your work for a fast versus a slow action, or for how fast the trees go across, or how do you feel that?
For both of these projects, it's been on such a tight deadline, which honestly is the only reason that they are finished and out in the world.
Yay, deadlines.
So it's really just been 12 frames, make it fast. Less than that, you're not going to get enough detail. Stop motion app that I use does allow you to change the frame rate even after you've animated, so it can be slower or faster. And these fight sequences, I think, happen so fast. I wish that I had had time or foresight to animate at 24 frames a second. But again, it's just like the Holly says.
Well, I also think too, like I think in some ways people think of stop action as a very unforgiving medium. Because they think of like Ray Harryhausen and the fur, like all of that stuff.
Right.
But one of the advantages and that you just showed us with your creature running behind is that going at those slightly less frames per second allows you a little bit of freedom. Like you have that little bit of wiggle room that you wouldn't necessarily have at a and it still works perfectly. So very good.
We still have some time left for the app, right?
Oh yeah.
Or anything you want to talk about.
Yeah. So should we check out the app now?
I'm gonna show just a clip of this fight action, and then.
Oh yes. Oh, sorry.
Please do.
So what I thought was so fun, and you'll notice, like, you see how it gets dimmer and lighter. I don't have total. So ideally you want to have controlled environment where there's no outside light. All the lights are your studio lights.
Right.
So there's probably a little bit of sunlight, or else it's my shadow because I didn't quite clear out of the light when I clicked the shutter. So there's like going to be some flickering. But I had so much fun with casting this movie. I know, like, that's a term that Flynn used. So, like,
Yes.
finding the minifigs, playing with their outfits and pieces. So this is just these very crazy characters having this crazy fight sequence, and just based on their weapons and their looks, I kind of found that they sort of dictate a certain fight style. Like there's one skeleton that's always flipping if you slow it down, or like this one with the claws is like always coming at you, and then you can't really see this detail, but in the background there's this witch fighting the skeleton, skewers it, picks it up by the sword, smashes it into the other skeleton, they both break apart, and then
Oh, that's your Jason and the Argonauts moment there.
Right, exactly. And then they rebuild, and then they all
That's so
Yay.
coming toward them.
Love the Maryland wig there too.
All right, so yeah, let's move into the app.
Didn't one of those skeletons have a Maryland wig on?
Yes. As all good skeletons should have good hairdo.
Yes.
Monster Kid Radio, I absolutely agree. If I didn't have deadlines, I wouldn't finish. I would just noodle and experiment and play.
So Joel asks, actually, if there is there a rule of thumb for when to use a different frame per second?
I'm not the person to ask that, but I'm sure there's lots of people on it.
I can answer that. SMPTE, is it the Society for Motion Picture Television Engineers, has published standards for all that sort of stuff, for regular movies, how fast you should pan, and it all gets very, very, very complicated. Or you can see how it looks through the viewfinder.
Well, I think that's what, and I'm sure we'll see this because
monitor.
I've actually used this app before. Is like Llano was saying, it allows you to change the frames per second like after you've already made it. So you can kind of, like, if you decide, oh, this doesn't look right, and you speed it up and it still doesn't look right, well, then that means maybe you need to go back in and add a few more keyframes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got complicated keyframes.
Definitely, especially if you're using a phone that's even smaller than an iPad, you want to export it often and review it on a bigger screen, because you'll notice things that you didn't notice when
you don't want to find that dog hair the next morning.
After you've already uploaded it.
So the screen is my iPad. If you anywhere on the screen, if you just hold your finger on it, that's not showing up in the screen share.
Oh, actually, real quick, can you tell us what the app is?
Oh yes, it's called iStop Motion.
iStop Motion, and that's the one we got.
It does cost $10, and there are other apps. This is just the one that I use. Oh, it is showing up. It's just a delay. So you can see this little slider. That's like the film on one side and the camera on the other side. So what's really cool, let me take a photo so you can see. So it actually shows you, it looks like there's quite a bit of a delay. That's interesting.
Are you looking at YouTube?
There might be upwards of a minute.
Don't look at YouTube. Just look at what you're. Yeah, because if you do that, you'll get confused. Because there is a delay.
On Zoom, it seems like there's a delay, but that's okay. We're gonna work.
Got it.
So when you take a photo, it shows you what you just photographed, transparent over it, depending on this little slider. So if you slide all the way to film, it shows you the frame that you just took. If you slide all the way to camera, it shows you what you're seeing through the lens. So
you can see how much moved.
That actually has a name in animating. It's called onion skinning, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, there you go. So that's that comes from the old style, the old school drawn animation, where they would draw it and then they would have the next position on, or the last position drawn on a see-through piece of paper called onion skin paper, and then they would keep, you would keep flipping it back and forth to make sure that you got the, the different things on.
Oh, we can see your overlay
Oh
now.
yeah, we can see your overlay. That's so
I did
cool.
that like a minute ago. It's just showing up.
Sorry.
Okay. So yeah, it won't. Because of that, I don't think it'll work to like properly animate. But then I would take another photo. These little remotes are not very reliable either. I find I have to like turn them on and off again a lot. And
oh, Minifig Chick does mention that iStop Motion is Apple only.
Oh.
Okay,
So,
but there's also, there are lots of them out there. So you can, depending on your platform, check out what has, obviously what's got the best ratings and isn't too expensive.
Right. So, the other thing I want to touch on here. Oh, yeah, this. So that's the thing about these remotes is like I clicked it once, but it's still taking photos for some reason. So not super reliable. But like I said, there is a way. I just haven't experimented with this yet, but there is a way to like trigger it remotely from another device. The other thing I want to touch on while we're here is I remember right after this, Richard used a 10-point word of multi-plane camera movements.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
So moving shots are really tricky to have smooth with animation. Tricky. The opening dolly shot in Fab Max Furry Road is video. So I'm actually just sliding my tripod across the ground. And that's why it's such a smooth opening shot. And so that's another thing I want to empower you to do is, say you've got a car that does roll smoothly and you just take a video of like pushing it, or you take a video of like dropping a character if you want them to fall. So you can if you have editing software, you can combine video with animation to make some little shortcuts. And for something Bricked This Way Comes, again, I'm trying to teach myself as much as possible with this. So something that I really wanted to experiment with was this multi-planing effect. So I'm going to do some actions which are going to take a minute to show up in my screen share. But I've got all these like little small like modular terrain pieces. And they actually have those...
Sorry, just real quick, I just wanted to say that in the chat, Holly was saying that her son uses Stop Motion Studio Pro app on his iPad, and somebody else mentioned that Stop Motion Studio is also available for Android. So
nice.
There's
Great.
Something like that.
Great.
Multiple ways in. Oh, I see. So we can see you adjusting the model. It just came up, and I think we'll see you putting those foreground items in. There they are.
Yes. So some of these little foreground pieces even have those little like 2x2 round inverted slider pieces.
Oh, yeah.
Slide them across the set, and I've actually got like a big piece of green felt that is on this table, which is anytime there's not a Lego base plate, that's the ground in this video.
Got it.
So the multi-plane effect is, if you think of real life, things that are close to you appear to move faster. Things in the distance, like mountains, or even further in the distance, the starry sky, those don't look like they move at all unless you get closer to them. So Bambi...
Like when you're driving past a farm, right?
Right. So Bambi in Disney, which is... I looked up, I think it's 1963.
Bambi?
Kind of, yeah.
I think it's the 40s, but I'll double check.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. It's not 63.
I will call Dr. Internet.
Maybe it's 43. Anyway, there had been other people who had done multiplane cameras before that, but that was like a big pioneering piece of equipment. So for that, there's a camera pointed down. There's 7 plates of glass at different depths that can all move independently. And so it allows you to have this sense of depth. And so I really wanted to experiment with that. And so for all the moving shots in this background is not moving at all. And what is moving is the foreground is moving faster, the background is moving slower. I don't think, since this has such a delay, I'm gonna stop sharing. And
Okay.
so
Well,
yeah,
well, and also too, I was gonna say, like, what's so great about, since when you're multiplaning, you have to do uh, in multiplaning, since you have to have things moving at different speeds. Doing this on a Lego base plate is kind of awesome because you have the studs to count with. So if your background's not moving, your next one up maybe only moves one stud, but the next one up actually moves two studs or three studs or
right,
four studs.
right. Again, because I was wanting this to be fast, and I didn't want to disconnect and reconnect pieces. That's part of why I used felt. And so you can see the bottom of this has those little sliders on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And so I've got like different heights, some rock, some tree, some rock and tree combination, some little like individual trees. And there's like maybe 7 pieces total. And I'm just reconfiguring the order of them. So like the character is staying basically still in the middle, a little bit of movement just to make it look like they are moving. The background is moving pretty slowly, and the foreground is moving pretty quickly. And then the starry sky is not moving at all. So that creates this illusion of movement. And the other way that I was playing with camera movements in this is I've got everything on this pretty lightweight, narrow desk. And I actually moved the desk toward the camera a few times. So again,
cool.
And mountains are the same distance from the camera, but the action is coming toward the camera.
Smart.
And I
Very
did a
cool.
little bit of like, you know, these are in the foreground. The desk comes forward and these move out. So it really gives the illusion of movement.
We did a so when we did our Treasure of the Snake Queen thing, we kind of played with that same exact thing with the
more static piece.
In a more static piece, but we played with that same sort of multiplane camera. And Minifig Chick reminds us that that it was actually Snow White in 1937 was the first major film to use multiplane. And actually, if you go to the Disney Family Museum, they have the multiplane camera set up.
Yeah.
And actually, you have to get on 2 different floors to be able to see the whole thing, which is so cool.
Yeah.
That we did sort of a similar thing. We had a almost like a biparting curtain, like that, like a sliding door almost that kind of went like this, and we did 2 stacks of trees that opened up like a little curtain like that. And then we had a backdrop that moved. We went the opposite of you, actually. Our background moved, and our characters stayed in place. But it was because it was a thing that you had to stand and look at. So,
Yay!
Nice.
So one other thing I wanted to touch on this animation, and then I think we can move to questions. So again, building for the camera. I actually made this to be hinged so it can open up, and that allows easier access. The other thing that I had a lot of fun with is I wanted to play with this stained glass window effect, which so many people do with stacking cheese slopes. And I found a good way to just like tension fit some of them in there. But then lighting it became a new trick. And so I had this little battery pack of LED lights. And so it's actually lit from behind. And then there's some, this is actually a cocktail napkin, but like thick black paper.
Yay,
so
what you have.
So that it doesn't cast light on the background. It's just coming through the stained glass. And then this side window is also has lights gaff taped on. Oh, gaff tape is
we know all about that.
Yay.
Gaff tape is another great tool to have available to you.
Yeah, it can be a little pricey, but if I was stranded on a desert island, I'd want some gaff tape.
Yes, yeah. This roll was quite a bit bigger than this. It was about $25, but worth the investment if you want to get into this. That is what this is held on with. And for anyone that hasn't used it, it's kind of like duct tape, but it doesn't leave residue, and it's matte, so it's not reflective, so it's not gonna like have any shiny lights on it.
I love those LED lights that you use that are on semi-rigid wire because you can just mold them and they hold their position, right?
Yeah, that is what this is. And so in addition to being through the window, there's also some installed in the ceiling to give you some little above light so that when the doors open, you know, it looks like there's life inside of there.
Wow. Oh,
And this roof has room for the battery pack, which is very convenient.
again, you built in the practical needs right there, and obviously paths for the wires to come out.
Right. And that took a lot of trial and error. And so the other thing I do a lot is lighting tests, similar to the animation. Like I'll take a video, doesn't have to be an animation, just like regular video, moving the pieces, playing with the levels of the light, and then I'll look at that on a bigger screen and go, okay, it looked good here, so let's do that.
All right, I have a suit. Well, first of all, I want to say what a wonderful presentation. Thank you so much for sharing all of that with us. Your super hard work and passion for it. I have a big, scary question that's so important and can really save people a lot of heartache. Okay. What is your process for saving and backing up?
Ooh. So I'm shooting everything on my iPad, so I've got the hard copy there, and then I'm like pretty much every time I complete a clip, I'm exporting it to my laptop so that it's in two places. I haven't done this yet, but then it would probably be good to put all of that on an external hard drive. The nice thing about animation and shorter clips is they don't take up a whole lot of space. So it is nice to be able to like quickly transfer them between devices and have them in a couple places. And then labeling everything and having a dedicated folder is really useful for organization.
Oh, organization. So you're not, it's like looking for that one by one plate, right? Looking for that 1 3-second clip. Oh man.
Yeah. Let's see. I noticed someone in the chat was, oh, that's very sweet. Minifig Chick's already got my.
That's our queen of links. She is always in charge of that. She's so good with that.
Kara, I'm gonna go ahead and email you my like master document. So you can post that in the chat. This has my equipment list, all of my social media lists, some of the influences. Oh yeah, so there are a ton of YouTubers who their whole thing is animation, whole thing is Lego animation. So there are like countless resources on there if this is something you're interested in. Mm-hmm. Someone that I really like is not Lego specifically, do a little bit of Lego animation, but Edu Puertas does really cool instructionals, and I think his day job is making armatures, and then he does animation on the side. But the link in that document that I just sent Kara is like 2 minutes of tricks, and that's kind of where I got the lighting thing. He does stuff with like practical light effects. And then I also have a link there to the Magic Portal, which if you have not seen that, that's like, there is previous Lego animation, but that's thought to be the first one with minifigs. It's an Australian director that was shot through 85 to 89. It was released in 1989. And the Magic Portal is referenced in the Lego movie. But that's where it came from, and it combines Lego, live actors, and claymation, and it's really trippy and fun.
Oh,
awesome.
Cool.
Gosh, what an awesome and fun thing. So first of all, I wanted to say a couple things. If you would like to, if you have something that you are an expert in and you would like to come be on the show and share that knowledge with the Tricky Lug community, please do shoot me an email, flynn@trickybricks.com, and if it works out, maybe we can work something out. And I'm going to put Llano a little bit on the spot here, so I apologize already. She's like, oh boy. But next week, Richard is out of town all week, and I mentioned this to Llano yesterday, but I want you all to help me convince her that this is a thing that needs to happen, I asked Llano if she would come on and co-host the show with me one day next week. I'm going to have a series of co-hosts for the week. So I think if you could all just like put up in the chat how much you want to see Llano come and be a co-host with me on the show, as we do as we make our way through our week next week without Richard, which is going to be weird.
I'm going to be up in the catwalks of a theater installing lights and people helping me to focus them.
And I've also mentioned too in the past, just sort of like in passing on Twitch and on here and stuff, is that Llano and we will be collaborating on a stop action animation and maybe even an opening song. I'm still checking into that. An opening song for the show, for the TrickyBricks Build and Chat. So we are super excited about that. So I think it's going to be a big year for Llano and TrickyBricks. That's my thing here. And you know what? I play ukulele too. So maybe we could even do a little duet action. I think would be really fun.
All of that sounds like a lot of fun, and yeah, I'm down to co-host. You asked me yesterday, and I was like, just so focused on like getting everything ready for this. I was like, let's just get through this first. And then...
as the storm was raining.
Yeah, it's like raining on us. I'm like, come be on. And she's like, well, let's see how tomorrow goes.
I'm standing in front of your house freezing right now, but I'll think about it.
And I will note that both your wife and I were like, I really don't see a problem. I really don't see there's going to be any kind of thing that would make me change my mind on that. But excellent. Well, I'm so glad. So, Llano, we'll talk and set up a day next week that you can come on and co-host the show with me. So, thank you, Llano, so much. Did you have any parting words before we go?
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me, and it's really been lovely to see that I've got the chat in another window. Thank you, everyone, for your support and interest. Again, my YouTube channel is going to have all the videos. There's that master doc in the chat. So tomorrow's actually my birthday.
That's right. I forgot. My goodness, that's right. It's your birthday. Happy birthday, Llano.
Thank you. And I am planning to live stream on my YouTube channel. Flynn, are you planning to live stream on Twitch tomorrow?
No, just today I will be, but not tomorrow. Okay. Yeah, I've been doubling up my streaming so that I actually have days where I don't have to be on camera. Like today's a 3-camera day. Today is this show, Twitch, and then our D&D game tonight. So I've got
fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I'm gonna start streaming on my YouTube channel around 12:30 Pacific time tomorrow. I'll put that in the Discord, the TrickyBricks Discord. If you're not on that, you can find that, and I
through Shane Levan. Yep.
On my social media, but my wife is super supportive of my Lego hobby. It does help that I have my own studio space separate from her living space. But she hasn't really built Lego, and she teaches 3D design. She's done industrial design, so she's like very someone that I would think would be into Lego.
Mm-hmm.
So I have asked for my birthday that she build my favorite set with me, which I'm not going to tell you what it is. I will say if you follow TrickyBricks, they have built it on their stream in the last few months. But it's my favorite set, and I found it on sale on eBay, so I bought a second one so that I can deconstruct it and use the pieces. And then we're going to build this new one together. And so I think it'll be a nice little like conversation about Lego and design and whatever else comes up. And of course, YouTube live chat. If I didn't answer any questions today, you could ask me them there. But live streaming around 12:30 Pacific time tomorrow. And then also, it looks like I've got someone here with some mail. little hand right here. What's that? Oh, it's a Bricks and Pieces order from Lego. So this just arrived. So I'll open that up too. I'm excited. I had a few failed parts. If you've ordered from Bricks and Pieces, you know it's real easy to delete everything you just spent an hour putting into your cart.
Yes.
So I don't totally remember what I ended up getting, but so I'm gonna open that Bricks and Pieces on camera too.
Mail delivery.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you for watching.
That is good. That's a good one.
Whew. Well, what fun.
Well, that was, what a great time. And I know everybody got a lot out of this today. I know I got a lot out of it. And hopefully there's people who are willing to experiment a little bit now. And I do want to say that as we move along and we all start getting, more and more knowledge under our belts, I do want to be able to start including videos in our Friday streams. The problem is it is a little difficult switching back and forth and the amount of bandwidth and all that kind of stuff. So I'm trying to straighten out how I can make that happen so that we can start sharing more of people's videos on the stream. But that's going to take a little bit of sort of behind the scenes work,
One of the biggest things I think I got from your presentation, Llano, is that it shouldn't be scary, that it's fun and you should just do it, and you don't have to be Disney Studios. You can just make something move and record it.
Exactly.
You also don't have to make a 2.5-minute epic story for your first animation. Like, start small. Just like make a character move, or no characters, just like
we did it just one afternoon and it was a blast.
Yeah, we did one little short one of a car, literally just a car driving away, and it took forever, and it was so much fun and satisfying at the end, right? Just like, so satisfying. But anyway, I just thank you, Llano, again for joining us today. Thank you, everybody in the chat, for coming by today and checking out this amazing presentation. Again, if you have something that you'd like to show people, some tips and tricks or whatever, and you'd like to appear on the show, give me an email. That's flynn@TrickyBricks.com. You can get a hold of us there. Don't forget, if you are new to the show today and you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit that bell button. Make sure you go over to Llano's page and hit that subscribe button and hit that bell button.
Yeah, the bell button lets you know what's coming up.
Right, because I think they separated them. So just because you subscribe doesn't mean that you will get the that you'll actually get notifications. They've made it separate, I guess. So yeah, that was a thing.
And for anyone who hasn't been on my YouTube channel, it's everything. It's not just Lego. There's toy stuff there. There's music videos, covers, and originals. There's like personal essays about identity. It's everything.
Fun.
And if you're looking for Lego specific content, my Femme from the Block Instagram is where you'll find that, and I'll certainly post any Lego related video content in that as well.
I know.
Please
We just
subscribe. You can always unsubscribe later or not get the notifications.
Exactly. Well, again, thank you everybody so much for joining us today. I will be back today at 2 p.m. Pacific on Twitch, continuing my here we go, the Diagonally build, which if you weren't on the show yesterday, this is kind of how far I've gotten so far. The first building is Ollivanders and Scribulus. Lots of great little details, lots of fun stuff there. So we'll be doing that at 2 o'clock on Twitch, and that's Tricky_Bricks on Twitch, because someone else has TrickyBricks apparently. And let's see. Oh, and then we'll be back on Wednesday at 10 a.m. With our regular Wednesday show. I have no idea what we're doing yet, but we'll figure it out between now and then.
And how does someone send us snail mail if they want to share some art with us?
Well, I don't have a graphic for that on this particular setup.
Do you have it memorized?
You can do that at P.O. Box 11517, Oakland, California 94611. Now, FAR, is that a new number?
No, I always read it. I always read it.
Excellent. So before we go, everybody, don't forget to stay safe, stay healthy, wash your hands, wear your mask, get that flu shot, and we will see you either today at 2 p.m. or on Twitch, or Tuesday back here on YouTube
Wednesday.
at 10. Wednesday back here on YouTube at 10 a.m. Thank you. Thanks everybody, and we'll see you next time. Bye, Llano and Fancy, and bye everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.